we're going to be taking a look into the sales process and the role that CRMs play in that. So I'd like to introduce everyone to Farith Odar. Farith is our manager of sales here at Leap and our resident sales technology guru. I made that term up for him, but I think it applies very well. Farith has worked with many of our customers and helping them through their journeys to digitizing their sales process, and he's got a lot of great information to share from his experiences. Um, so, Farith, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. So I'll go ahead and turn this over to you now, and we can kick things off.
All right. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks for everybody thanks for taking the time to join us today. I know it's a short week for all of you, so I really appreciate you carving out an hour of your day to learn. Really, that's what this is all about. I'm gonna start with something because you guys are gonna notice this. I'm gonna have to set some time aside with Tor to work on my PowerPoint skills because I might have too much text on my next on my next slide. So Tor, look out for that calendar invite. I just I'll make sure to get better at that. So I just wanted to address that before you guys look at it, and be like, well, this is completely opposite from what Tor was just saying. He's the expert on that, so I'll stay in my lane. But what we're gonna talk about today, guys, is what a CRM is, whether you need a CRM, and what is the best way to use it. And yes, we are going to plug Leap in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit of what it is that we solve for when you're implementing Leap and you're connecting that to your CRM. So I would say over 50% of companies that we talk to on a day-to-day basis do not have a CRM. And in any other industry, that may sound crazy. Why is it that companies that move so much volume, most of you guys have an average contract size of maybe $10,000. You probably close 10, 15 of those a month, depending on the size of your sales team. So how are businesses like that with that type of volume just doesn't have a CRM, right? And the reality of it is that you do actually have a CRM, but you've built it. Like you put those things in place. So I want to give you a little bit of sort of like a hard look in the mirror so that you understand what it is that you currently do today, what is costing you to do that, and what the light at the end of the tunnel is. So the first thing that I have here is let's just define what a CRM is. By definition, is a customer relationship management tool. That's simple, right? What does that mean? What does it do? So if you look at this graph, you have the CRM basically in the center of everything that revolves around your business. You have relationship management, which means relationship from your office to your customers, to your audience. Also relationship management within your company, from one department to another, from the marketing team to the sales team, from the sales team to the production team, from the production team to the install team. All of that should be managed by your CRM. Sales calls, something that is the core of your business. Without sales calls, none of us will be here today. Email marketing, that's huge. Whether you spend a ton of money on marketing or you just do a little bit of it, or you have a referral based type of marketing where you're really not writing a check to get leads, you're relying on your quality of work and all that still has to be managed, right? So we're gonna talk about that too. Documents, that's huge in this industry, is huge. There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen when it comes to taking a project from the initial hello all the way to the install. There's a lot of people that have to look at documents, pictures, any type of data. So how are you managing that? What does that look like, and how is the CRM fixing or helping you making that process a lot easier, more convenient, as well as streamlined? Follow-ups on projects. Let's be honest here. We don't necessarily close every deal that we're out there quoting. And even those that you close, how do you follow up to then generate more business off of that? Are you just relying on somebody remembering to touch base with your current customers? Are you relying on a salesperson to go through anything that was missed in the past couple of months? And as you grow, what will that look like? So your CRM is basically the hub for all those functions to work together, to communicate, And at the end of the day, those are things that you're currently doing today. Like I mentioned earlier, you currently have, quote unquote, a CRM process that you've built, that you've created with a series of standard operating procedures with different departments and things that you guys have already put in place. The job of a CRM is to bring all of that together, manage that, and make sure that nothing falls through the cracks. That's the best way. That's the best way to put it. We can go on the next slide, Kelly. So that brings us to the next question. Do I need a CRM? I can tell you one thing. I would not open a company tomorrow if I were to start a roofing company without a CRM. Period. There's no questions about that. The investment level is minimal to the amount of value that a CRM brings. It's going to run my business. It's going to be something that I'm eventually going to put in place. If I am so set in my ways to not have one, to eliminate costs or keep my overhead as low as possible, it is still going to cost you money. Trust me when I say that. So if I were to open a business tomorrow, the first thing I will do is a CRM, and I personally wouldn't go for the most cost effective one because I understand that changing CRMs 5 years later is a huge overhead. So long term, it'll cost you more if you decide not to go with the CRM, or even if you decide to go with the CRM and the CRM is just, solving the pain points that you currently have. You got to start thinking long long term. So I have a series of questions that you can answer for yourself, and if any of these questions result into a yes, or the majority of them, you need a CRM. If you have currently a CRM and you're answering these questions and the problems continue to happen, you need to talk to your CRM partner and find a solution for that. And if they don't have one, then you have to start thinking about changing CRMs. Okay, so if you're spending money on marketing, um, that is huge. I mean, I've been in the marketing side of things. I know what billboards cost. I know what TV cost. I know what radio cost. Even now, if you're doing any type of digital marketing, most of you guys are probably on some sort of program that you only pay if they call you, or you only pay if it's an appointment, if it's a qualified lead. Some of you guys may just have traditional marketing, which is radio, TV, that you may spend thousands of dollars a month and you may not get a call from, right? So when you actually have that, if you have that type of budget, if the answer to that is yes, I can tell you now you need a CRM, and we're going to talk about why in just a second. Do you store your leads in Excel or on a calendar? And if you notice, I've separated the questions there, and I ask first on a calendar, and then I have another one for a Google Calendar. And that's because there's still companies out there in 2020, soon to be 2021, that still have literally a hard copy, big calendar on their desk, and that's how they manage their appointments. Now, I'm not saying that's the majority, but I can tell you now there's businesses that are running it that way. It's either that, or they just have a board or something like that posted on their office, and that's how they manage their appointments. And look, you can train people as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you're always going to find that things will fall through the cracks if you have that type of environment. So that has to change. When you send the information to your salespeople, how are they getting that info? Are you texting them? Are you calling them? Are you giving them the lead the day before? If all of that, if there's human interaction in that process, it's prone to fail. And you probably are already on the other side of the call, remembering that there's instances where you might have lost uh, um, an appointment, or the customer call you like an hour later asking you where the rep is, and you're just sitting there wondering why John couldn't get to the appointment. Maybe because they just didn't see the board, or they didn't get it. They just didn't see the calendar, period. So if that type of thing happened, then you have to start looking at a CRM. Do you store your contracts, proposals, pictures, appointment notes in a cloud-based storage? Now, what I mean by a cloud-based storage is OneDrive. I'm talking about Dropbox, anything where you can just drag and drop a document, create a folder, and have that, and give access to anyone in your company to be able to view those items. If all of that sounds foreign to you, then I'm assuming that you probably have good old Manila folders. Again, guys, it's 2020, soon to be 2021. If you have Manila folders, I totally get it. I've been there too. I started selling home improvements back in 2007. We used to have this gigantic file cabinets with all Manila folders, and that folder will go through the entire process. The second the deal was sold, a folder was created. We'll staple a couple different cover pages. We put it in that file cabinet, and everybody knew what their job was. The production person or the measuring tape will come in looking for that folder. We'll take that folder out. We'll take it out to the job site, remeasure the roof, remeasure the windows, add more documents to it, bring that folder back, put it back into that file cabinet for the next person to pick up where that person left off, all the way through install, right? That entire process, there's so much room for error. You probably have a stack of Manila folders right next to you right now that are not complete, that are not cleared, that have to be followed up on, and not necessarily followed up with a customer because you have a question, follow it up with your salesperson, something that wasn't clear, handwriting that it just can't be it can be read. There's so many variables there. So there's a way to get around that. So if the answer to that question is yes, again, you need to start looking at a CRM solution. How is that being transferred? We kind of touched up on that on our last bullet. How is that being transferred? Is it manually given out? Do your people know where to find this data? What happens when they get lost? How much does that cost you? So next time you're looking at a CRM, you're looking at a monthly cost. Remember the last time a Manila folder or a contract was lost, right? Do you have full visibility to your follow-up process? Back to my original point there, do you spend money on marketing? I'm gonna just basically tie those two together. And if you don't have a follow-up process for the 60% of appointments you're not closing, you are literally throwing money away. Even if you were to pay for qualified leads, that qualified lead never stood a chance to get closed because you're not going to close them all in the first call. You can't rely on customers to do their own process and then get back to you. You have to follow up. You have to stay top of mind. How is that happening? Who is in charge of that? Do you have a person that picks up all of those crumbs and then eventually makes something out of it? Or is it just basically lost in the sauce? So what does that look like, right? So if the answer to that is yes, then again, you need to start looking into a CRM solution. Finally, are you still running reports on Excel? Guys, if you're not running reports at all, then how do you know the state of your business? How do you know that your marketing is working? What's your best marketing channel? Do you need to do TV or radio? Is that actually working? What's the cost per lead? What's the highest converting marketing channel? What do your reps like the most? Now, even if you're not spending marketing, let's just talk about the companies that are 100% referral based, right? What areas are better than others? How many of those did not take the deal because they didn't have the cash? Do you have numbers and data to back that up? Because now maybe that will trigger something else. You need to start talking to financing companies because there's enough money there that if you were to provide solutions on a financing level and a budget option, you can capture more dollars and cents. All of those things, guys, that is why you need a CRM. So if you're answering yes to any of these questions, again, you definitely need a CRM. Like I mentioned, if I were to open a company tomorrow, I don't care how small I am, part of my investment is going to be a CRM 100% of the time. We can go on to the next one. Let's talk about what you wish you will do, right? And the reason why I want to talk about this is because everybody runs their business differently. I get it. Most of you guys who have started a home improvement company didn't go to school for that necessarily, right? You work for another company, you figured out the way they did it, you thought you can do it better, and then you went ahead and started your own company. Or you're just a very handy person that knows how to do the work and decided to not have a boss, and you want to be the owner of your own company. So it's very hard to find the ABC of how to run your home improvement business because everybody does it differently. So it's a very difficult task for a CRM to figure out every possible option so that I can gear my software to every single company out there. But even with that, you have to keep an open mind about that. So think about the things that are important to you. What is your wish list? Don't when you look at CRMs or software, don't think of it as what the software can do. Think about what you want. Think about what would move the needle for you. And then challenge your CRM to show you how they will handle that. Because they may have a better way to do it, same result, better way to do it. So that gives you the opportunity to analyze your processes, maybe change them a little bit to make sure that that CRM will work for you because it comes with more features that can definitely change your business. So keeping an open mind is huge, but make sure you have your wish list when you're looking at things. So capitalize on every opportunity generated by your marketing efforts. That's a big one. If you guys are more on the sales and marketing side of business, the home improvement industry is kind of it's kind of split into two, right? You have your owner operators, very industry savvy that start their business and they go and they're more based on referral base and that type of stuff. And then you have the other side of the industry, which they sell the same exact products, but they're more into the sales and marketing side of things. They have figured out how to generate leads in volume, and they have a ton of reps, and they really want to streamline those processes. Regardless of in which site you are, you want to capitalize on every opportunity that you create. That is a wish list. Anybody can agree on that. I don't want to spend money on marketing. I don't want to waste a lead, especially not now that the industry and the country and all the things that are happening. I want automated and single data entry. I don't care what CRM I'm looking at. That's what I want. I want automated and single. Why do you want to have that? You want to eliminate, you want to take out all the extra cooks in the kitchen. Have one person handle that or a team of people handle that and make sure that your CRM is managed accurately. Make sure that it's automated too, so that when I enter somebody's name, I don't have to re-enter that later. As he goes through the entire process, again, from hello to install, that name, that phone number is consistent across the board. That is something extremely important to be able to have consistency within your process. Not only that, when you run reports, everything matches because you have the same format in which you're inputted that data, right? Real-time communication from dispatch to sales. So back to the initial point, which is single data entry. Well, that's great. So how is my salespeople, or how are my salespeople going to be able to get that info? Well, you want it to happen now. You don't want to wait for a text or a phone call, right? How many times was the rep late to answer to your call, and now automatically that makes him late to get to the appointment, and the excuse is, sorry, I didn't get your phone call. Well, you want to eliminate that, right? The second that your CRM has that appointment and that calendar is updated, now it's on the salesperson to manage that. And they have visibility over that. Real-time communication from dispatch to sales. And then all the way around, from sales reps to management. That was the biggest issue I had as a salesperson. When I started, guys, I was 20 years old. As any 20-year-old out there, I was not the most responsible guy out there, right? I was running leads. I was a very good salesperson. Work ethics were great, but I can tell you what, I just didn't like, at the end of the day, after running 3 appointments and driving all over town, I just didn't want to sit down at my laptop to return my results, to return my data, to scan my documents, to send that final email, to make that final phone call. Maybe I was okay doing that when I sold 2-3 deals a day and I was happy about that. But when I was having a bad day, you just will not get that data. So what is that costing you today, right? How many people are waiting for that data to come back so they can proceed with their day to day? So if you don't have that kind of stuff, that has to be a wish list, right? We have the methods, we have the technology out there in the world to be able to have immediate communication in real time from the field back to the office. Centralized data storage, right? I want to have one place where I can find absolutely everything about my projects. One place. I don't want to walk over to the next office to open the manila folder, hoping that everything is there because maybe there's only half of the files that I need, right? I want to be able to be at home or on the road and pull out that folder so I can see the pictures, so I can see the measuring sheet, so I can see the certificate of completion. If you're off right now, it's a short week. What does that look like for one of your reps to close a deal on Wednesday night? Are you gonna get those files back in your possession that same night, or are you gonna have to wait until Tuesday or Monday when they come back to the office? That's important data, guys. That's customer data. Maybe even a check. Somebody's check with the account number is in your rep's hands for an entire weekend. Many things can happen. So you want to centralize that data. You want to, in real time, update those notes, have all that data there. Everybody has it. Somebody can be working on that on Friday or maybe Saturday or Sunday. I know no one here wants to do that, but trust me, if you're in that type of environment where you're a smaller company and time is of the essence, you want to have that data. You want to have that information securely, right? What about pending deals? Forecast your pipeline. Right now, during the slowest time of the year, is the perfect time for you guys to get your hands on what's December gonna look like, what's January gonna look like, how many leads do we have in the pipeline for December and January? How is my marketing working? What did it look like last year? How well did I do? Do I need to dial that up a little bit, maybe spend a little extra cash to keep my guys busy in December and January? Or am I just guessing? So if you don't have full visibility on your pending deals, your forecast, you can't make those decisions. You just can't. You're just guessing, right? Do I need an extra salesperson? Should I hire somebody? Right? Or how much money am I actually expecting to come through in December? So there's so many variables there. So that is definitely a wish list. And then finally here, shorten the process by eliminating the unnecessary human element. What I mean by that, guys, is just a simple thing of just passing folders and papers and text messages and emails by hand, manually, right? Relying on someone's memory, relying on someone's ability to just get the job done. If you can automate a lot of that, that'll make your life a lot easier. You will also be able to put people in doing tasks that are more important, right? We all can agree that finding good people in this industry is hard. It's extremely hard. It's difficult. And then losing somebody is also difficult. When you have trained that person for a year or two in all these different manual processes, and now that person is gone, what do? Bring somebody else who's going to teach that person the ins and outs of 2 years of new processes and handouts and communication channels, etc. You almost have to redo the whole thing. So that also keeps you from growing, right? Well, if you had a system that had it already built in, all you got to do is teach them the system. Just teach them how to use and how to click those buttons. Everything else is automatically sent out to all the different destinations and everything is triggered automatically. That will shorten that process. That will make your process easier. Not to mention that now the time that's spent in all these different manual tasks, you can take that time and put this person in charge of something more important, where they can actually bring more value to the table, make your company better, invest in people. You've heard that before. Invest in people, not processes. All right, next one. All right, so here's a shameless plug, Leap, right? So it's funny because I would probably say that one of the main things, if not top three, it probably is the most valuable piece here. Most people that already have a CRM come to Leap because they already discover all the pain points that I uncovered in the past 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So the number one thing that they want is to solve for that. Because again, they're very attached to the operational side of things. They appreciate real-time updates. They appreciate communication. They appreciate storage of documents, data, analysis, reports, forecasts. They appreciate that kind of stuff. They're just not capable of doing it accurately and consistently because, again, They don't have the data to begin with. So Leap comes in clutch because we are collecting the data and we'll zip in that data right into your CRM. So that now you can take that data and with your CRM do all the things you wish to do. The funny thing about that is also it's the easiest thing for us to set up. So you come on board with us. That is the number one thing you want to accomplish, yet is the easiest thing to do, right? And then when we actually end up doing it, it's not used correctly, and we have to go through those things. So the way you build this out is very simple, right? You build Leap out, and you have everything in there from your pricing, from your contracts, from all that. Within Leap, you can create automations that with the press of a button, it can send documents and data back into your CRM literally in real time. You have your sales rep finish that appointment, walk out of the house. Your CRM is 100% updated with everything you need from that appointment. You don't even have to call the rep. It's there. And then from that point, you can go ahead and do everything that you wish to do, right? Direct and real-time communication from dispatch to Salesforce, to your Salesforce. No more calendars, no more Google calendars, no more text messages, no more calls. The second that appointment is deemed as ready or set to go, and a salesperson is assigned to that particular record, that appointment, boom, the salesperson has that appointment already in Leap. All they have to do is work out a Leap. Open up Leap, your calendar is updated with all your 3 appointments for the day or the 2 or the 1. That way you have sort of a backup plan. Now, if you want to continue to call them just to make sure they got it, go ahead. But now there's no excuses. You train him to follow the process. You train him to use Leap. The appointment is there. You must go. He's got the time. He's got everything you need. You can also guardrail that. Some companies here that we talk to don't want to give the rep all of the info. They don't want them to have the phone number or the email, right? They wanted to add it later, but they don't want to have it before the appointment because they might have bad experiences with that, where the sales rep, maybe it's a Friday night that we're trying to just go and do God knows what, get the weekend started, right? And they call the customer and just basically give them a price over the phone. So they don't want the rep to have that data. That's totally fine. You can guardrail that too so that it doesn't show up, right? Automated distribution of data directly from the field back to the office. I love this feature. This is it. I mean, this solves a lot. Think of it from any single angle that you can think of, right? Your sales reps do not like to do admin work, period. I can't think of a single salesperson, and I know a lot of them. I hire a lot of them. Even here at the office with a computer in front of them, they have a hard time updating their CRM. I can only imagine what you guys go through because I was one of them. And I didn't care, honestly. If someone at the admin level at 8:30 in the morning needed to have that information so they can carry on with the production process and schedule the measuring call, nope. They don't even know what happened because the rep is sleeping and they didn't update anything. We don't know how much it was for. We don't know if it's a check or finance. We just don't even know. Even if you were creating manila folders, guys, you can't even create it because you don't have the data. So for us, from a salesperson standpoint, it's such a relief to not have to do that and have it accurately done and consistently. Trust me, they will love you if you were to put that in their hands. Even if they refuse to use Leap because they love paper or they've been doing it for 20 years like that, that is a very good selling point. Great. Now you can do it and you don't have any admin work. Just learn how to use Leap. I use that message every single time I'm training reps, and trust me, I have people that are 55, 45 years old that are very stuck in their ways, trying their best to learn the system because they just don't want to do the admin work. So that's a huge value there. Last but not least, I'm going to take the next minute to just talk about this for a second. Maximize the usage of your CRM. Buying a CRM is fine, guys. Realizing that you need it is fine. We already went through that in the last 2 slides. But if you're not using it, then then it's no good. If you're putting in inconsistent data, if you have everybody with their hands in it, it's a nightmare. It causes more confusion than it fixes them. And then you go around and you cancel your membership with CRMs and you default back to the old ways because you didn't use the CRM properly. How do you maximize the usage of your CRM, the adoption of your CRM? Well, you need to automate that human interaction. The more you put on people to do, for them, it means extra work. They don't want to do it. Man, before I just needed to get up and put the appointment on a board on my wall. Now I have to go into the CRM and I have to put it in. Man, I'll rather just do it by hand. Right? I'm sure you guys have heard that before. Well, if you tell them what they're gaining from doing that action, they're going to appreciate the fact that you're implementing this software. How do you do that? You bring things like Leap into the picture. And yeah, again, shameless plug there, right? But Leap generates all of that, automates all of that, makes all of this a no-brainer. If I'm an admin person and I go to my office every single morning and I know that the 9 deals that closed last night are all updated with every single piece of documentation that I need to do my job, I will love you forever, because now I don't have to chase sales reps. I don't have to put things on pause. I don't have manila folders sitting there with no data in them, with no papers, with no pictures, with no contracts. I don't have to deal with that. It's not a headache. It makes me a happier employee, and it makes me more efficient. So you maximize the usage of your investment, which is your CRM, and also maximize the usage of your human investment, right? Because we invest in people too. So that's all I got for you guys today. I'll be happy to take questions. If you want to do a one-on-one where I can actually show you how this thing works together, I'll be happy to do that. I'll put one of my team members to just show you this, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Thanks, Fareed. We do have 2 questions that have come in for that. The first one is coming in from John. He's asking, what are some of the key metrics and things that you look at within CRM once you've got your instance up and running?
So you definitely want to face it in, right? So I think that changes depending on your ultimate goal. To try to use your CRM to its max when you first get it, it's probably a little too ambitious, right? So the best thing that I can advise is take a look at where you're suffering more, right? Is it your marketing? Is it your sales metrics? Is it your production side of things, right? And then figure out the path to get there. For me personally, if I am more in the sales and marketing side of things, right, and I'm investing money on marketing, and I'm investing money on bringing in reps, and I have pretty high commission payouts and goals, and I'm just that type of company, I want to make sure my marketing is set up properly first. I want to know how my different channels are working. What is bringing the best quality lead, the least amount of money per lead, right? And the most value. And I know that's kind of like a unicorn, but trust me, once you have a CRM and you start running those numbers, you'll find that number, right? Maybe canvassing. You probably thought you grew up, or not grew up, but you started your business thinking as a canvasser, right? That's what I used to be. There's a high cost for canvassers. People used to think canvassing is cheap. It's really not, right? You got to account for management. You got to account for hiring. You got to account for commissions. And it's just, hard to track. So track that, right? Start bringing some canvassing leads. See how well they convert. Maybe they convert higher than your radio leads or your ad leads or your Facebook leads. So, short answer to your question there, John, is that, figure out your marketing first. Figure out your marketing, start getting your leads into your CRM from a marketing standpoint. Divide those based on sources and see which source works the best. Invest in that source, and obviously have the sales force that will be able to take on that.
Fantastic. Hope that answers the question, John. Thanks for that. We do have one more question coming in from Terry. Terry would like to know what CRMs that Leap integrates with.
Awesome question. We integrate with MarketSharp, Lead Perfection, Job Nimbus, i360 or Improve It 360, Salesforce, and Job Progress, which I believe just happened not too long ago. So we're still, it's rolled out, but if you guys are using that, we're more than happy to put you in some sort of like beta test to make sure that we work out the kinks, if any. But the first 5 that I mentioned have been integrated for the past 3 years at least. I personally used MarketSharp in the past. That was our very first integration when we built out Leap, and I have experience using that system. outside of Leap. I have experience using that system with Leap, and obviously have the experience now that I'm with Leap.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you for that, Farid, and thanks for that great presentation. Lots of good information and things to think about.